Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country. Because you have to listen to these things. These things, the trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them. And because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if those things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberian. It doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because of their vote, our leaders be able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson told, Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est autissement, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas loupé nous. Quand il reste Sylvie, il a quoi qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique n'a pas loupé, t'as mon bien de moi avec moi, nous en somme à plus. Bon, moi, bâti au moins, néo. Mon temps dit, t'as mon mouillé, on s'est abattu, frère, moi, il pleure. Mais là, l'autre, yo.
Doing anything that people get amended, and with me from 2005 to date, we're all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me, I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion, and it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You understand? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on the soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say. I'm on record.
Yao, abela lokeyo, bivito jobai, bivito noba, matisi mokeyo. Manager Gigi, ouais que jamais forcé ou si tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noskan Yassen de Toyebi, l'homme a tout fait pour Mivito, Aniche les deux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, and largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we'll prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. You know, don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talk nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children tuition, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Good evening, folks. Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. I want to thank all of you again for tuning in this evening. We're going to be rocking it, as you can see here. Let me put it here so everybody can see it. You see how thick this is? You think I'm bluffing? I'm not playing around. We're here. Thank you, safety, Lord Jesus. We want to thank you again this evening, bringing us back here. My Lord, we ask you to continue to bless us, protect us. My Lord, we ask you to continue to provide all of the protection that you have for us. Give us wisdom to do what is right. Clear our eyes to see what is right. My Lord, only you can do all of those things at once. Because of you, we woke up this morning without any medical intervention. Because of you, we will go to bed tonight again and wake up in the morning. And we want to thank you. We want to thank you and want to praise you for that ability. The fact that you are there for everyone. It doesn't matter what a Samson told from Told Town. And it doesn't matter whoever it is from New York. The blessing is all there. All we have to do is recognize you and know that you're doing good. And I want to thank you for that. My Lord, with Liberian diaspora, will continue to be work and provide food for 2 tables. One on the family table here in the diaspora, we put food on it. And we also put food literally. My God, you know what I'm talking about. Literally, we put food on the table for family members back home as well. My Lord, and these are done strictly because of what you have done and what you continue to do for us. Giving us the opportunity, you told us, I gave you the opportunity, but you don't forget where you're coming from. Thank you for reminding us every day. Thank you for that wisdom of us, Liberians, not forgetting where we're coming from. Thank you. And we will do what we can to make sure we impact that to our own young brothers and sisters, daughters, sons that have been born in the diaspora, so that they will not forget the Republic of Liberia. My Lord, election is at hand, and we ask you. We put Liberia in your hands. You've done it before, but I ask that we don't even get to that point. Help us. Guide us. Guide the leadership. Those who are in charge of the election, guide them. Make sure they do what is right. My Lord, election is not something we, Liberians or Africans for that matter, take lightly. They're very serious. But with the trust we have in you, we're here tonight to say thank you. We ask you, my Lord, to bless the leaders of the Republic of Liberia. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, we're here again, asking you to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, folks, Samson to LIBERIA Public Radio. Please share this video as much as you can. Please share this video. We're going to go ahead and look back. You see, when I come out here to talk, I pray to God, because I'm a human being like any other person, that when I open my mouth and have these cameras focusing on me, that whatever jealousy that is in me, God should help me, that it shouldn't come through. I'm jealous. We're all jealous. Who would not be jealous? We're human beings. But as long as we have God on our side to protect us, cleanse us, clear our mind, clear our heart of all of the jealousy when we're speaking with these kinds of issues. And from that perspective, I will let you know tonight, from now to the election, we will continue to look back. Yeah, there are a lot of news, but I want to remind those of you that will be listening. I'm not too sure where you are with respect to any political spectrum, whether you're on the left, right, it doesn't matter to me. As long as you tune into me, I appreciate it. But I want to remind all of us here again tonight, how did we get to this point? Election is coming. The sitting government is asking the Liberian people to give them second term. Do they deserve second term? Let's look back at some of the things they have done. Good, bad, whatever it is, we'll bring them out and put it before you. I'm not here to make you or ask you to go one way or the other. I'm just here to give it to you. What I'm also here to do is to dispel all of these talking points. Whenever we have show, people will come on and talk about different issues, which is okay. That's their right. They can do that. That's fine with me. Locate it for me, and as God is as a blessed child, the government, the sitting government, that I'm criticizing, but with respect and responsibility. I am not criticizing because of hate. Far from it. How can I hate somebody whose names that I've used to eat? I've been telling you guys this story over and over. Why would I hate President WEAH? When I was going to school as a student, an engineering student, things were tough. Liberia, they're not Town School, it's Youngstown, 1 hour away from Canton. Working in Willoughby, 1 hour away from Canton, 1 hour from Youngstown. So I go 1 hour to work, 1 hour to school, 1 hour back. And when I had the opportunity to coach one of the finest schools in Canton, soccer, at that time, President WEAH was at the top of the world. And so many of the kids, the fact that I was from Liberia and President WEAH is from Liberia. Do you know George WEAH? They call him George WEAH. I said, no, I know of him. When I was in Liberia, he was young at the time, very young. I want to watch him play football on TV. And at one time, I watched him play when they have IE Barrow stuff over there in New Jersey area. I watched him play, but it's just for fun. And the fact that I'm a Liberian coaching them, they thought I was one of the best coach because of George WEAH. So they told their parents. Through conversation, they know that I eat sawa, pop ball rice, they call it. In less than 2 days, once they find out what my stable food was, every practice, 25 pounds showing up because of what? George WEAH. Why would I want to hit somebody like that whose name God has blessed me to eat at the time? But I must be truthful. I must be truthful. Even if I don't hate President Weah, I am not the only Liberian. They have many, many Liberians whose lives depend on the functionality, the good governing process of the Republic of Liberia. And if that is not being done, I must be truthful. You see, I have the ability to compartmentalize. I will be able to compartmentalize my feeling towards towards upon WEAH, and my feeling towards President WEAH. I have the ability to separate that. And you will see that again tonight. We will criticize, but we will do so with responsibility and respect. Because in as much as I am an admirer of Ambassador Wakai, if I don't respect the current president of the Republic of Liberia, and then when Ambassador Wakai become president, then I want people to respect. It doesn't go like that. If I disrespect this president, and any other person become disrespectful to Ambassador Wakai, why would I want to say something? God would tell me, you're not being fair. And so, folks, we're going to do it here again tonight. As I stated earlier, thank God, as a blessed child, all, if not all, most of the things that I'm going to be talking about tonight, that will be backed by evidential proof. I have evidence, written documents. Some of the document that I'm going to be making reference to, most of the document that I'm going to be making reference to tonight, written by this sitting government itself. And they're called a Pro-Poor Agenda. And they called that particular document blueprint. But like everything else with this government, they will do something good, you start pressing them, then they put their foot in their own mouth. I always say this, and I will continue to say it. I will continue to say it. Once sometime, watch again, you will see before the election comes, CDC or the president will do something good. Everybody, oh, look at this wonderful thing the president has done. And somebody from within the circle of the president will come out and put their foot in their mouth. They do that all the time. So I'm not surprised. But let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on, folks. Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio. I'm going to be giving you some more information here tonight. And hopefully, but those of you that are on the fence line, listen to me keenly. I'm not asking you to make decision. All I said to you is listen and listen well. Because it's very important. It's very, very important as we come on these programs and with all that we have and all that we're going to be doing. I've always asked God that I shouldn't be seen as someone speaking from pure jealousy. Of course, people will accuse me of that. That I have no control over it. If people accuse me of jealousy, of not knowing what I'm not speaking the truth, being ignorant of what I'm talking about, I have no control. That's their view. They're entitled to it. All I can say and all I must do is do what I believe to be true. As long as from the bottom of my heart, between my God and myself, that I'm saying these things strictly based on paper, then I got nothing to be afraid of. Folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, let me give some revolutionary music here tonight to bring me, put me in the mood of political commentating from my own perspective. Let's listen in.
We want to know. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know who owns the land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know. Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know whose land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know whose land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know whose land. Who owns Papa's land? We want to know, Papa's land, Papa's land. We want to know whose land. We want to know, we want to know. Yes, we want to know who owns the land. I said we want to know, we want to know. Africa wants to know who owns the land. Africa is my father's land. Yes, Africa is my own Papa's land.
Okay. I just want to recognize my own brother, Tommy. Thank you for joining us this evening. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. And folks, I stated earlier, this is a binder on false error by this government. I got plenty of them. And I'm going to be going from there tonight. But here is what I'm going to be doing tonight. You see this? On false error. You see, one of the things I like about these days, today's day, is that many of these things that people do now, that specifically the government or whoever is in charge, whatever they do, they're documented. And as a student of history and somebody who likes to read and a political junkie, when I see these little miscalculated error and things like that, I copy it, put it in my binder. Because I know there will be time people will start running that mouth on me. I got to respond, Samson. Folks, I love it when I do that. I really, really do love it when I do that because I am truly enjoying myself here this evening. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's start. So as I stated earlier, I'm going to be focusing tonight on the pro-poor agenda. I think I read the last time the opening of the pro-poor agenda, the letter from the president and the letter from Armo Toy as well, the finance minister. Tonight, I will do a little bit of reading from the executive summary. The pro-poor agenda, my own definition before I go to their definition, for me, it's like a roadmap where, for example, let me put it simple, the way I know how. You swallow fufu. You know how to swallow fufu? And when you swallow, you can put water in the fufu and swallow it? No. You put soup there. What kind of soup? It depends what you got. And when you put the soup there, what you do? You put some bone in there, you put some fried fish, whatever you want to do. But that is the plan of having a good fufu according to you. You plan it. What do I want to eat with my fufu tonight? Then you go and put the ingredients together. That's a good word, ingredient. And I don't even know books. How that one come? I don't know. But on a very serious note. So these people have put the ingredients together. How to run this government. It is so sad. It is so sad that from the initial stage, they purposely decided to ignore their own document, their blueprint. In fact, they have a song. They have a song. You can keep your blueprint, we will build our road. They say on that song. You don't know about it. How will you build something if you don't have the blueprint? Even my uncle, Old Man Sharo, used to be one of the best engineers in the area, but at that time, I have no clue. But when people are building houses and things, why would anybody want to call me? What would be your reason? Can't be serious. Cannot be serious. But anyhow, let it rain. So my uncle, Old Man Cheryl, when people building the houses and things like that, they were inviting to say, can you come and see and tell us what at that time, now I know now, the pitch of the roof. They were trying to figure out how the slope of the roof should be. So he would come without any calculations, but he would tell the people how high the gable roof supposed to be. Now that I'm an engineer, looking back at it, he was just a brilliant human being. I went home the last time to bury my brother, And I took with me, specifically, purposely took with me a square, square ruler, okay? And I measured, because I was there. I saw him when he was building the foundation. I was there. In fact, I helped to bring some water. But the way he put those things, they were so straight. When I put a straight edge on that, it was unbelievable. 90 degree, unbelievable. Now, he wasn't reading blueprint, but he has it in his mind. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. Now, are you telling me that many of these people that are operating this government have that kinds of mindset to know exactly what they want? I don't think so. Not even Samuel, who are considered to be one of the geniuses of the Republic of Liberia. I don't think so, because if not, he won't be putting his foot in his mouth most of the time. But let's get on. So they have this here, the blueprint. And I'm going to read from this executive summary of the blueprint here tonight. And I want you to pay attention to some of the things they will talk about. Their thing would tell you what are some of the ingredients in the fufu that they're trying to put together for all of us. Executive summary. The pro-poor agenda for prosperity and development. Your cow, I'm reading again. Your cow, may your comment now. The pro-poor agenda for prosperity and development 2018 to 2023, Pete, is the second in a series. When it says second in a series, that means something else has happened or something else will happen. Second in a series of five-year national development plan anticipated on the Liberian Vision 2030 framework. It followed the agenda for transformation 2012 to 2017. It is informed by lessons learned from the implementation of the internal poverty reduction strategy 2007 and the poverty reduction strategy 2008 to 2011 as well. The fundamental underpinning the pro-poor agenda. One, listen to this, my people. Listen, these people, I'm telling you, it got nothing to do with jealousy. They're very smart. If somebody tells you this year are not smart, then the person fooling you. They are very smart, very, very smart, intelligent. But for some reason, they just don't want to prove themselves as being smart. Listen to this. The fundamental underpinning the pro-poor agenda. One, Liberia is rich in human and natural resources with a per capita national wealth index of more than $10,207. But two, is deprived of development largely because its human capital lacked the knowledge to transform the natural resources into wealth. That goes deep into our own psyche, to be honest with you. Wealth through farming, mining, fishing, or other productive venture that require technology or financial investment. Do we do that as Liberians? No. I'll give you an example. And I'm not trying to be tribalistic here or anything, but these are just an example. And because these are public record. There was an issue one time in Nima County. I believe it had to do with the land issue between two brothers, the Mandingo on one side and the Mana or Gio brothers on the other side. And the argument became so heated that one of the young brother, Mandingo brothers said, what am I going to be fighting with you guys? Your entire community economy, we control it. So what am I going to be fighting with you for what? Your economy of the community is in our hands. Is it not true? I grew up in Total. There were 3 shops in the entire town. Koli has one. Saka has another one, and Musa, I I feel forgetting the old man. That's another one. That's the one that can open people's eye when you're blind. He open your eyes. Has another shop. All the other one, including my own father's shop, he was selling sardine. I ate all the sardine. Whatever. I told my father, let me sleep in the shop and guard the shop. He said, okay. Oh my goodness, Samson, told yourself you're ridiculous. Okay, but that's okay. I ate all the sardine. But anyway, no, including my own father's shop. Most of the people, the town people, from the Crown tribe, their shops are all King Jew shops. Where are the Cullies, the Musa, the Sackers, their shop? They have tangible, something that people rush to buy. Now everybody in the town can drink King Juice. So basically, those three families, they were pretty much running the economy of Toll Town. And that particular incident is not unique to Toll Town. Our brothers, the Manigo brothers and sisters, they're very good at that. You put them anywhere, they will make money because they know how to hustle legally. I'm just putting this thing out there. And so when they say farming or other productive venture that require technology or financial investment, we Liberians, it has nothing to do with government. We just don't invest into something tangible. So I want you to understand that. Let's move on. While access to finance can be readily addressed, it is the fundamental lack of technology, knowledge that constrain the wealth creation and national development process. Consequently, Liberia is relatively rich in natural capacity, capital, but relatively poor in relation to its peers in both human and produced capital. Moreover, because of a legacy of entrenched inequality in the access to development, opportunity, widespread infrastructure defectives, and perceived poverty have become the binding constraint to future growth and prosperity. Now, the reason I'm doing this, I want you to see these things. Because if you can bring these things to light and you see the constraint, some of the reason why our people are not moving forward, and you're putting it in a blueprint for you to see, to say, okay, these are some of the reasons. And so once you recognize the reason, you should now have the ability to approach and try to solve that issue. As an engineer, that's what you do. You go in the community. What is the problem? You identify the problem. What are some of the constraints in that area that perhaps might give you difficulty, that might become difficulty or bring difficulty to solving the problem? You find the constraint. How do you deal with it? And at that time, when you're in the community, your mind is working. How are you going to solve this issue? And that's exactly what they have done here with this blueprint. Liberia Economic Growth and National Development Mode. The development, folks, those of you, and I'll be specific here, Winter Carter and Prince Sherry, this is your pro-poor agenda. So if you want to make comment here tonight, please read it, because if not, I will quote them to you. The development mode exposed on a previous national development plan was to draw foreign direct investment into economic enclaves through mineral development and agricultural concessions. Agreement to exploit the natural resources and produce wealth, while the government commits to sustaining an attractive and competitive environment for foreign direct investment. Liberians who give up the natural resources have never received a fair share of the economic gain, nor the technologies to produce on their own. This thing was written back in 2018. This president has some of them. If I name these people that wrote these things, some of you know them. They're very smart. But the question is what they utilize. So I will come up with my own conclusion in a few minutes. Let me finish. Okay. In many situations, Liberians end up poor and more full insecurity because of the loss of variable access to the concessionary. They can't take for rubber. They take the rubber. We make tire in Liberia. We produce rubber. All these years, have we made tire? I used to work in rubber factory here in Rhode Island. I know how the tire business is. Here's another interesting thing. Over the last 12 years, Liberia recorded large inflows of development assistance and investment from DP and from private sector. The country becomes one of the largest recipients of donor funding in Africa by 2014. By contribution to fiscal discipline and microeconomic balance review in the national deficit a percent of GDP, Liberia remained heavily dependent on grain, which rose to 35% of GDP in fiscal year 2011-2012, declining to 5% in 2012-2013, returning to 17% of GDP in fiscal 2013-2014. The cumulative total of the cumulative total of domestic budget resource, official development assistance, and foreign direct investment exceeded US $25 billion. That would be on Ambassador Bakai and President Salif. Exceeded the 12 years. The direct investment and grant and everything else exceeded, according to the $25 billion, not million, $25 billion. The government acknowledged that progress has been made because of the investment and assistance in economic growth and life expectancies of birth. Liberia exceeded the sub-Saharan Africa average of the same period. The Human Development Index increased by 10.6% between 2000 and 2015. Life expectancy at birth increased by 14 years and mean years of schooling by 1.8 years. Over the same period, the gross national income per capita rose by 8.4%. That's honoring Ambassador Baka and President Salif. From 1990 to 2015, nevertheless, Liberia remained in a lower human development category, and absolute poverty is on the rise in 5 of the 6 national statistical regions. Historically, GDP growth has been volatile. Per capita GDP increased from about US $1,270 in 1960 to $1,680 in the 70s, and sharply declined to below 1,400 in the 80s. Liberia experienced the worst decline to less than $115 during the Civil War in the mid-90s. From 1995 onward, the GDP improved and progressively increased to growth rate of 11 to 14% from 2007. The gain produced by the GDP growth have not been universally felt near or at the sustainable rate. The outcome produced by large investment inflow over the last 12 years show marginal reduction in key indicator of disparity and deprivation among the population and geographic region. Moria. Everything. Moria for them, Moria is Liberia. When inequality measurements are introduced, the 2016 adjustment show less losses of 33.4% due to inequality in the distribution of basic indicator of development. Monrovia. The average loss for sub-Saharan Africa is 32.2% over the same period. Four as the 177 of the 188 country on the 2016 Human Development Index. Liberia ranked as the 11th lowest on the inequality adjusted and the gender HDI. Liberia is among the 10 most unequal country. Monrovia. Since 1847. Monrovia. The pro-poor agenda. The pro-poor agenda is therefore about people. Now, this is the interesting one again. I want you to pay attention to that. This is the interesting one again. The pro-poor agenda is therefore about people, how to strengthen their capacity to thrive, and how to draw all Liberians. They say total people alone. All Liberians living at home and abroad. They say people only in Single. They say something in Sacramento too. Living home and abroad into the national development process. I'm involved. Truly involved. I'm not getting paid yet. I'm working, but they pay me fasting yet. I'm getting ready to make noise. I got my money. I got my money in 1 week. With the noise I will make in the play. The people say next time, no can't help us. I want my money. Over the next 5 years, addressing the basic need of Liberians for income security, better access to basic services, and greater opportunity for self-improvement in an enabling environment that is inclusive and stable. Will be at the core of the pro-poor agenda. I need to read that again. Okay. I need to read that again. Over the next 5 years, addressing the basic need of Liberian for income security, better access to basic services, and greater opportunity for self-improvement in an enabling environment that is inclusive and stable. Why will be at the core of the pro-poor agenda. They finish telling you the nucleus of the pro-poor agenda. They finish telling us. Now, the question you're going to ask yourself is that true today? Is that true? I don't know. While one of the aim over the long term remain rising the per capita income level and economic status to a middle income country as outlined on the Vision 2030 framework, the focus over the next 5 years will be on removing binding constraints to reach that goal. And this one I got to throw a little jab at them. The only constraint they remove on a very serious is on themselves. Because these people, many of these people are rich today than they were when they started. Now, you can say, well, how do you know that? Is there any statistic you have? No, I got eyeball. I can see kolo. I can see. I don't need statistic on that one. That you can say, okay, then you lie. Okay, so be it. The pro-poor agenda is also about crafting. Now, listen, you see, when the people come and put these kind of words in there, then they prick my interest. And I say, yeah. But then they go, before you know, they start going left side. The pro-poor agenda is also about crafting a national identity. Yeah. Book deep during the notebook. Samuel told them they know plenty book. The book wasting Samuel told them here like nothing else. But what they can't show us now, underpinning the long conflict. Yeah. You hear that word? Conflict. That means something not working right. Underpinning the long conflict is the national identity crisis embedded in the first constitution that Liberians are on a mission to seek liberty, Christianize and binding Africa. I don't know what all that one mean by here. Successive generation have been brought up to believe that there is always a special relationship elsewhere, and that Liberia is a Christian missionary nation. The government and people recognize and embrace our African identity, first and foremost, and accept that our national development must start from this mindset. You know, that's why they reading that thing, that's why I see why the president can be preaching Sunday. But the president, you know, that what, well, when you preach Sunday, come to us on Monday and bring that same good spirit from the church. Bring it to us, Mr. President. But you finish talking Sunday, you put a zip. We don't hear you again. We don't even see you, sir. You ride the car you ride all the way, the window tinted. We don't even hear you. You don't even see us. When you ride Maria, you want that all we hear. That the only way we know that the president going there. One, because the one can be too much. When you hear one or two, one, then you know that the vice president or the speaker. But when you hear continue one, the plenty, then you know that the president. That what we hear. And then on Sunday, then you come and you sit with us and you tell us the good feeling. From Monday through Friday through Saturday, we ain't hear from you. The government and the people, okay. National vision. What clearly emerged from the national constitution or consultation on the future of Liberia held in 2012 is that the tendency to benefit the Liberian identity in Americo-Liberians versus indigenous enclave leaves the erroneous impression of two direct community that need to be reconciled for political, social, and economic development to take hold. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because I can live with the Americo-Liberian as long as they respect they're our brothers and sisters. Many of them we have biological relationships, so to speak. Many of them. If you were to truly go to Liberia right now and do statistic, you will not find plenty of Congo people, real true Congo and real true country. You're not going to find them because everybody has mixed with so I don't think so. Okay, but it is evident that Liberian identity is function of value of multiple, largely patriarchal traditional society, different tendencies of faith, and the influence of Black settler culture. So, moreover, new enclave emerged out of the Civil War. Now, that's an interesting one coming now. Because watch what they're going to say. Most likely, I could be wrong, but I'm going to predict that they're going to say people coming from Nigeria, people coming from Ivory Coast, people coming from Guinea, people coming from Ghana, they're bringing those culture from those different countries into Liberia. I bet you that's what I'm going to say, but let read on. I just want to see if I'm right. Okay. Emerged out of the Civil War between the diaspora and those Liberians who remain at home, and between those who were victimized and those who were perpetrated. All these privileges must be addressed for Liberia to go forward successfully. Everything else in a proper agenda, whether they talk about it or they didn't talk about it, but they want here, that's what we've been saying ever since. You see what I mean when I say they put their proper agenda down and they just, what happened when President WEAH came from America that one time when he was iced at the airport about war crime court? What did he say? Okay. But in his own proper agenda, they're telling him to address that. Have he even talked about it since? No. So then why would I not say that they purposely ignoring this proper agenda? Am I wrong? Well, please, you make the decision. signifying of the recent transition in national leadership. The one thing I love about people, they address everything. The election of His Excellency George Manuel WEAH as the 24th President of the Republic of Liberia, and Her Excellency Julia Howard Taylor as the first female Vice President, presently a unique opportunity to begin a transformation. I will deal with that one there. Let me suckle that. Let me suckle that. Let me suckle that, because this is interesting. This is interesting. It was the first peaceful and democratic transition of power in 73 years. True. And as Samson was there to witness it live. And of those 73 years, I participated in maybe 20 or 30 of those years. Fully participation. I was involved. Rice Riot. The coup, I know about it. Plenty information on that one. I was not there for Civil War, but I was there for this process where President WEAH was given the medal from the former president. So let me read on. It was the first generational change in national leadership through popular vote since the introduction of universal strike in 1951. 1951, that's the time Tuer and Tubman started accusing people and started creating false enemy. So in 1951, and the launch of the National Unification Integration Policy in 1960. This opened the window of opportunity to build a national identity based on the principle of inclusion, equality, in the distribution of revenues generated from Liberia national resources, and and transition to a right-based approach to national development. People get all that money from you not hear Korean people doing their logging. Only a few people enjoy the rest of the people. Even in the village, what the logging coming from? Only few people enjoy. Everybody else gone. They take the money. But they have it in the blueprint. They tell us how to generate these funds. You see what I mean? Let me go on. Okay. It also opened the opportunity to unite Liberia's diverse faith and nation around a national identity that reflects Liberia's geographic position and relationship with the rest of the Africa region. Goals of the pro agenda for development. In view of the foregoing, and taking into consideration progress made over the past 12 years. They come here, what Joseph Waka not do? He ain't do nothing. They said their own pro agenda that they approve of, that they were going around dancing and telling people we do well, we got blueprint. Listen to their own pro agenda. Adamio, Dan Joseph Waka wrote that one either. Listen to, that's their own pro agenda. It said, in views of the foregoing and taking into consideration progress made over the past 12 years, the objective of the pro agenda listen, you see what people can do. They sit down on the old mat and they're ready to apply the new mat, which is acceptable. That's how it's supposed to be. But when they look at the mat, they say, "Oh, the mat we face it." Everybody will enjoy. Y'all get off that old mat and will condemn that old mat. The old mat that you're supposed to sell and apply the new mat, they start condemning the old mat. Then, as a result, the people who are focusing on the old mat, they can't do the new mat now. The new mat start tearing apart. Rain started soaking them. The war economy starts soaking them. Samuel Twist decided to be magician. Now you see it, now you don't. I will go through that yet tonight. You think I have to complain? Not begging, man. One, they said, to build a stable pro agenda, the objectives the objectives of this blueprint that people wrote. Okay, to build a stable, resilient, and inclusive nation, embracing our tribal heritage, anchor on our identity as African. Yeah. You would think these people were talking about some sort of African liberation. You would think these people were perhaps, and they're not that old, though. You think they were among us during the progressive time of the Republic of Liberia, the Republic of Liberia, when we used to go meet at coconut plantation. You would think that if people were there, but many of them are young. They were not. They are not, but they can read, and they're able to follow his story. These people that wrote this thing, they're so smart, so intelligent. Then the question is it one of those where there's a slogan that says, educated, you know what? Is that what's happening here? These people are so smart, they were able to recognize all of the little things that if they put together and work, the foundation of the nation will not be broken. Hey, President WEAH. I wish, before I go on reading, let me make this comment quickly. I can't sit here tonight and blame the president on all of these things, because the so-called woke people, they started pushing him away for a very long time, doing themselves a disservice. You see, they were not smart in the woke people, and that's why I say some of our woke people are not woke men, but some of these woke people, they're so noble, so much woke that sometimes their mind goes somewhere else. They knew on a very serious note. All of these people, the Dr. Tipote, the Dr. Sawyer, the Dr. Famule, all of these PhD in Liberia that fought so hard for Liberia to be where we are today in terms of one man, one vote. When President WEAH decided he wanted to participate, these people, they're not stranger. These people have been reading all kinds of books, and they know the strength of popularity. They know the strength of love. And these people know George WEAH was loved, and he was more popular than any other person in the country. And these people, they're very smart also, but they knew very well that most of the people that like George WEAH are of voting age, just coming up, just the same age that we were when we started following them. And they knew very well. When some of them, when we were at coconut plantation, when they speak, you take their word like a fool, like faria, and you want to eat it. And they sat there and not gravitate towards George WEAH and said, we're all here. We've been fighting for this thing. We know you're going to get it, but we're here to back you. We're here to work with you. This is getting emotional for me. And they failed us tremendously. They failed us because of their own greediness, their own greed. I'll give you an example. I don't know if I need to say this yet, and I'll keep it to myself. Forget it. I'll just let it go. But the point here is this: if all of these people, Winston Tubman tried, but he came and not putting President WEAH ahead, knowing fully what President WEAH have the popularity on his side. But Winston Tubman, is very smart. When you put President WEAH ahead, and when President WEAH gain the power, you work from behind the scene and you suggest and make the president, he's young. He might not be politically inclined, but he's young, vibrant. And you, as an old man, just like I said, you can't walk again. You stay beyond President WEAH. My man, Piggy, let's do it. Let's do it for our people. Our people have been suffering too long. And then you'll try to educate. You see, these people are so wicked. They are so wicked. They are so wicked. I'm a progressive, but I will say this tonight about these progressive. They are so wicked. There was an incident. I left Liberia. at a very, very, very young age. People, when you had to see me coming, he said, "What are you coming to do here for?" I left my little brother over there. And when I left Liberia, this young man, member of PRC, by the way, he was in 6th, 7th grade. Young, he was in the army. The younger army man at that time. But when I went back home, a year or so later, this young man could quote Malcolm X to me as though he traveled with Malcolm X here in the United States. He could quote Martin Luther King's speeches. He had album record that he listened to. And where did he get those things from? He got them from the progressive. And what the progressive were doing, they identified, these people, they're not good, man. I'm a progressive, but these people were something else. They identify among the PRC member those who have the ability to lead, and they decided to teach them. Revolutionary tactic, to teach them. And when I got back home, my little brother, the one that I grew up with total, when he talking to me as though he was speaking, as though he just coming from South Africa during the apartheid time. Every little conversation, how and why people need to be protected, their right need to be protected, everything. And you want to tell me these people were still alive? They were young, and they all wanted to be president. Why all these fighting they went through? Why they couldn't come together, knowing full well that President WEAH go up and come down, he was going to be president of the Republic of Liberia. There's nothing any of us could have done. Because it's just common sense. He's popular. He's popular, and the voters, the age of the voters, they were not in it for the progressive ideas. That's not what they wanted. They were in it for Opon to be president. For Opon, who put Liberia on the map, because when Opon playing football, all of the video places in Monrovia stopped. All of the Civil War business stopped, and the people watch whatever they can get their hands on a video. When Opon come to Liberia, everything stopped. They watch, and this is the man they wanted. No matter what, they wanted him to be president. And you mean the progressive could not recognize that? To say, let's put ourselves around this young man. My own friend, Tibote there, knowing fully well how much struggle they have gone through. And they have the opportunity to work with President WEAH, to come on board with President WEAH. Do you know how far we would have gone? But they all wanted to be president. It's very sad. It's very sad. So for me now tonight to sit here and say that all of these things are President WEAH, then I'm not being sincere. There's another pamphlet that I have here written. The people, they're not, you see, I like them. Some of them, they predicted the future exactly what it is. Dr. Famule wrote a piece about Samuel Twe. I think I read that to you guys here one time. But Dr. Famule on a paper, you can't read it. You got to get dictionary with you to read it. The word he put in there, I can't pronounce them. I can only read small. But truthfully, in that paper, he predicted exactly, but in a negative faction now. He said Samuel Twe was toting the football boots of a football player. He described President Opon as being the man who has a brain on his feet. And Samuel Twe is the football boot toter. And this is what we have. Samuel Twe is still toting the man boots. But guess what? Samuel Twe decide who eats today and who don't eat tomorrow. All of your boat people. The only person who were there, Wilson Tapper, one of the progressive. Wilson Tapper used to be my economic teacher at GW Gissing at night. At night, ask him if he never taught at GW Gissing. Okay, we have another guy who was teaching literature, Samson Carter. Okay, we have another guy, I believe by now he's a medical doctor, they call him Baptiste. But he was there to teach biology at the time. They were all at LU. Okay? But the point that I'm making before I go back to this, people go here, is this. These people knew exactly what they wanted. And they knew that when there is a free and fair election, President Weah was going to win. And I believe ever since the election 2005, they always been cheating President Weah. Every time they come, the woman will cheat President Weah. Every time they come, the woman. The only reason why they didn't do no cheating in 2013 because her time was over. But if she were to stay in power, she was going to win again because they were cheating. I believe that. I truly believe that. But it's not about me. Let's go back to the pro-poor agenda. You see, this is what I do. If I see it, if it's not right, whether it's myself or say, I will say so. I will say so. People to push him away. Oh, no, the man ain't no bull. Hey, man can't even read. Yeah. But the point is, where do we want to go? We want to get over there. How do we get there? The bridge. The bridge. So even if the bridge is strong, but because the bridge, you want to tell me the bridge happened in how do you call it, St. John River the last time? If both sides of the bridges have all of the bearing out, the bridge is going to be stable. It was going to be concrete on concrete, no rubber, no shaking. It was not going to last long, but it was going to be stable. So if you have President Weah, knowing fully well, all of you guys knew he was going to win. Nobody in their political right mind to say President Weah will not, if there's a free and fair election, President Weah is going to win. Monuba Molu recognized that. Look, these young people, I've been fathering them for a very long time. Remember Monuba Molu used to say, if President Weah ain't win election, you're going to crucify me? You remember that? If President Weah ain't win the election, you're going to crucify me. You remember that? Go up and count down. President Weah is going to win. You're going to win. And you would think that these smart people, you mean they hate? I don't know for what reason. I'm just making it up. I don't know that for facts. But you mean they hate President Weah so much that they decided to have their own interest, their own national interest to be subjugated to the fear and the hate. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. And as God could have it, the progressive, they come close, they don't win. They don't, because they just don't recognize that they are setting one of the founding member of the progressive. He and my I'm not going to talk about that. Let's move on. I just want to put that in there. Okay. The goals of the pro-poor agenda. In view of the foregoing and taking into consideration the progress made over the past 12 years, the objective of the pro-poor agenda are to build a stable, reliant, inclusive, national, embracing our tripartite heritage and anchor on our identity as African. 2, to lift an additional, that not mean say so, that not me. To lift an additional 1 million Liberians out of abject poverty over the next 6 years. This was written back in 2018. And they celebrated the launching of the pro-poor agenda in Ganta. I got the video. And reduce absolute poverty by 23% across 5 of the 6 regions through sustained and inclusive. They love the word inclusive. These people, they pro-poor agenda people, they love. But when the time comes to employ people who were capable, they didn't want to do it. What's his name? McGill was taking money from people who had no clue how to run anything. And there they talk about inclusive. So they were not serious from day one. And inclusive growth driven by scale-up investment
What you say you all over the place here tonight?
in agriculture,
problem?
in infrastructure, and in human capacity, in human capital development.
I said,
no, I'm not done yet. You gotta wait. You gotta wait small.
but why you all over the place here tonight?
Don't worry. Yeah, I know you are coming. I started sensing it ever since. Don't worry. Let me finish my stuff. You know I'm very truthful. Even if the truth is hating myself, I will say it. Let me finish the reading here, and I will bring you on, please, if you don't mind. If you want to stay by, and I got about a few more pages to go, and I'll be done. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you for calling my Lord name. The key measurement for progress on the first goal will be the social cohesion and reconciling. They said they want to reconcile. Index. The goal is to improve the index from 6.6% to 8%. The other indicator will be civil trust. Oh, they say people want to trust them. They want to be trusted. Anyway, Mr. So had come and intellectually disrupting my program. So let me stop here. I will go on. But on a very serious note, before I turn into my colleague, Mr. So, you see there's other one here. Auditor General report of factual finding on applying the agreed upon procedures of the $25 million map up. You got a report in my hand. You see the other one? The one here. Core report. Scoping report. Independent review regarding allegation of the disappearance of a new Liberian $16 billion note missing. You got a report here. We got to deal with it. So when y'all come, y'all make sure y'all get facts. Let me put everything aside. Mr. So is here. Let's start the conversation. Okay. He came in the right time. Go ahead.
Let me ask
you have a question.
Are you the new Aberport now?
Mr. So, this Libra is on. And I'm telling you right now, there's no stopping. No, but on a very serious note, Mr. So, we have to do these things. We cannot just continue to let Samuel Twe and the rest of the people to pretty much force us not to look in the rear view mirror.
So then let me ask you, what's your strategy now?
For me?
Because I just don't know. And many of these people, they want to also ask, they're wondering who you are, what you represent, and what is the message. So what is the message now?
Mr. So, I am a
Liberian. You praise George WEAH, you come, you stay with the liberal, with the progressive. Yeah, your friend Tiawan Gonglo selecting his running mate. You're not talking about you're a biker guy. You're not talking about biker mission. You're just all over the place. So
no, I'm not. I'm being factual. Now, the thing is, I want people to know this government has a blueprint. And I want people to also know and ask themselves, are these people operating based on the blueprint? And I submit, no. And because of that, they are not inept. These are most of the intelligent, smart people. But they purposely decided to ignore the blueprint. And as a result, they started driving through faith and somehow imagining things. And as a result, they can't move this car because there's no blueprint. If some of the things they listed in here, if they were to just follow 1/5 of that, I think they would have done good. And because of that, they will be punished.
So who does it the advantage?
The fact that they purposely disadvantage them. However, not many Liberians will do what I'm doing here, for example. And many Liberians, as far as they're concerned, they don't, Samuel Twe and the rest of the people, they've been masterfully putting the blindfold on us, not to look back. Let me show you some example here. Samuel Twe, finance minister. Samuel Twe, very intelligent, very smart. And he's been playing with numbers for good for a very long time. What did he do the last time? Knowing full well when he was on ELBC,
that he admitted that the pro-poor agenda was a failure as far as they were concerned. But once he recognized that he got cut, what did he do? He decided to throw the 27 million people out of poverty, knowing full well that Liberia is not even 6 million. So when he threw that words in there, everybody that decided to go after him were going after the 27 million. And that was the intent.
So
his intent was to throw that in there and throw you off. But it's not with a progressive. I'm not being thrown off. I knew exactly what Samuel Eto'o was doing.
I'm confused, to be honest. I'm confused because
that's okay. That's okay.
No, it's not okay because it's part of your culture, not only confusing me, but you have confused the entire audience. And this is why I always receive multiple calls. They're wondering who you are.
Well, Mr. So, this is it. And I will speak the crown. You know, I'm going to say, as it's on our call. And any way they want to take me, that's okay with me. I'm okay with that.
No, this is ridiculous. I mean, you okay?
Why would you consider that to be ridiculous?
Yeah, because your message, we find it very difficult to get the central message of what you are trying to.
My central message is this: to say, Liberians, let's look back.
Every other night you bring booklet of pamphlet, the one Rufa Dapo, Albert Port never even carried this. What are you trying to project,
Mr. So? You see, this is what you do sometimes in a question as to whether you really on board with the progressive here. I've been saying to you over the last 2-3 years that I have binder fault of unforced error by this government.
So what should you be doing now if you have those binder of unforced error?
And that's what I'm doing now.
No, you're not doing anything. Who are you helping in this process?
I'm not, Mr. So I think perhaps you are not listening from the beginning. I said to the audience, I'm not here to tell you how and when and who to pick, but I'm here to enlighten.
Do you support a particular person in this race?
Yes, I do. I admire Ambassador Boyka.
What is the ultimate goal of you admiring Ambassador Boyka?
I hope Ambassador Boyka will succeed. But I will not lie.
Succeed where?
I will not to succeed to be president of the Republic of Liberia. But I will not lie for him. I will not lie for anybody.
What is he lying to us that you know you want to tell us tonight?
I'm not saying he's lying, but I say I will not lie. I give you an example. I read something here a few minutes ago. I give you an example right away. In this pro-poor agenda that I've been going on here, it says
do you want Ambassador Boyka to win the election?
Yes.
How you think you're going to win the election?
By being truthful and telling the people what he think he needs to do.
So
how he's going to govern.
Who is helping to channel that message?
I don't know. And it's not going to be me. Whatever that I'm going to be challenging, I'm going to be truthful. And yes, some of the truth that I've been saying here all night. Okay. Back in the day. Okay, here, let me read this to you. And this is something that is not as somebody who admires Ambassador Boyka.
I don't want to go to reading class this evening.
No, there's not a reading. I'm just giving you an example. If I wanted to be one of those mouthpiece who would just say anything to support, no, I'm not like that. Yes, and I read that the cumulative total of domestic budget resources, official development assistance, and foreign direct investment exceed $25 billion during the period when Ambassador Boyka was vice president and President Salih was president of the Republic of Liberia. What happened to that money? I don't know. So, but I didn't hide it. I put it out there.
What this is a hypocrisy at the highest level. And
so why would you say that? Tell me.
One hand, you champion the cause of Ambassador Boyka. On the other hand, you're taking the Mercedes to cut him.
No. I think you're missing the point. No, hold on. You're missing the point.
The reason you brought your encyclopedia, it was all from yesterday and last week. Oh, you'll come tomorrow. So you did this. It's well calculated. And you think you just want to still, you alone want to be here tonight and just spray your toxic all over the place for people to listen to.
Thursday.
You claim to be progressive, right?
Thursday is going to be a different show.
Or you step it up to Thursday?
Yeah. Because
I
you're
will
here
still
now.
be here.
I got a lot of stuff here that I have a lot of
Can you
material
step
that I
it
put
up to
together here
Thursday?
tonight.
I will still be here Thursday. I will still be here Thursday. And you think you're going to find a day that you know very well? I have a very tight schedule, but trust me, I'm going to take that Thursday off.
Okay, well,
We're not going to allow you
join me.
guys to be
Then
getting
join me.
away with this thing.
Let me instead of you doing that, let me go on with the show, folks. I will stop the reading, but just a few things I want you to take into this here. Few things. I'll give you an example here. Why these people decided to ignore the pro-poor agenda, which is the blueprint. Let me play this for you. It's a very short video. Let me play that.
Cloud, we are saying having party to Jamaica. I want to see all the party women, including the national chair. We went to Jamaica. The thing I'm telling you, that one saw dream is a dummy at the 2 hour were in a play. I drank that one saw dream for 2 hours. They can't finish. That one saw dream I drank for 2 hours. I was confused. We entered Jamaica. The president sitting answer with his wife and Piso. I go in, they lay all over. Mange sitting down, he put a table. The table that was under the pantry that I play in one side. And 12 wave. All of people men sitting down with him. So I wanted to go speak to the president first. I waved to him, but I was going directly to the president. I can't wave to him. He hold one chair, second sit down. I said, Chief, let me speak to the chief. I come here now. He said, when you go and see Jesus, you see Maga in your Maga, what do you do? Can't say that I'm here too. I said, can't yeah. We're calling you. I can't Sarah. I said, the way in my heart. I said, the way they call 2 people calling me like that. Let me go sit down. Mange sitting down here, he put my chair right here. I sat down. The next person to me that was finance minister Samia Tue. Right now the government running at 3 people run the government. They didn't want to tell the president what to do. There was in Koji, Samia Tue, and Natana Mange.
Right there, what the reason of playing this, I want people to, because this is a public record. Everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm doing here, they're all public knowledge. I'm not making anything up. But here's the reason of doing this here. And I have more. People started warning this government from day one. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, you will not be successful. And they purposely decided to ignore people. I have many videos here where people, remember Dallas Dillon had a class, reload or whatever it is. People used to go there. People who were members of sedition, smart guys, used to go there to talk how they want to succeed and what are some of the things they're going to do. When the pro-poor agenda was finished and they launched it in Ganta, I read a speech, I read a welcoming remark here from the president. If the people have followed this pro-poor agenda, Mr. So, I believe they would have been successful. And many people will be writing here, condemning me and something. It really doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter to me. I do what I do. And as long as I know I'm doing it from the bottom of my heart, that I'm not doing it because of hate or jealousy. And here's another thing. I took almost 5-10 minutes of my time condemning the progressive, which I'm part of. Because I truly believe that if these people have put Liberia first and coalesced around President WEAH, we would have been far off. With their knowledge and President WEAH popularity, Liberia would have been successful way better than what we are right now.
This is so troubling and with your monologue, and I just do not know what your political ideology to represent and what it hopes to achieve. As far as what Esther Walker is saying, they're complete nonsense.
That's what you think. That's what you think.
Listen, we are in a time, we have 105 days to go. If I were in your position that's supporting Joseph Boyka, Eli Ellis Comey, or George Weah, you know what I'm going to be promulgating at this time? I'm going to be comparing and contrast and making the argument why my candidate is the alternative.
But that's not what I
you were talking at the talk. I know you're in charge. If you want to throw me out, go ahead.
No, I'm not going to park in the bike. Go ahead. I'm not like
because,
you.
Yeah. But here you are, and many others who are talking for these people, you consistently you're reminding the bad days, the bad dreams of Liberia when at this time when they need some sort of resurrection, hope, what should be coming, and for you to be making the argument instead of you. Esther as far as Esther Walker, they are the same people. They're almost like a Eugene Fagon type here. You in the system, you knew very well. She knew very well that 3 persons were running our government. But she said that she was still a superintendent until whatever I think they let her go and later on suspend her and bring her, and she's still working. Are those people serious people? They are not serious people. I can't listen to those people. They are not authentic. They are
fine.
fake. So what you need to be doing now, the liberal progressive, you claim to be liberal. I'm questioning the authenticity.
You have the right to do that. You have the right to do that, and you can question whatever you want to question. I'm not gonna.
And you always on this network, boycott stabilize or boycott stabilize.
And I still believe that.
Okay.
But do you want me?
Can I make my point, please?
Please go ahead.
You have your 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes monologue here. I didn't say anything. Now, you have 104 days to go, for God's sake. What Liberian wants to hear, if you are supporting Boyka, which is a free airtime for the Unity Party, you have your party, Liberty Party, is in turmoil. You neglected that party. You deserted that party. You turn your back to that party when the party is in crisis. You, as a person of a wisdom, when you should be in the vanguard to mend the fences of Liberty Party, guess what? You turn your back in bad days. You guys are the folks who just want to see daylight, but when night comes, you turn to Nicodemus, and then when day comes, you profess to be an angel. You're seeking political refuge with Unity Party now. Instead of you supporting or instead of you making the ideas why Ambassador Boyka, one day you talk about Ambassador Boyka be good, another day Kumi, he's a nice guy, he's supposed to be here, but he can't do this. Let he go on Boyka. Mr. George, we are this. Mr. So who you are, who you really, what you really represent.
Mr. So, this is what I do, and I'm very proud of myself. I keep saying this here. When I come out here and open this camera, I must be truthful. I will say things that perhaps I might not even be comfortable with it, that it might be hurting me. But I will not hide anything. If I'm going to be telling you that CDC have neglected the pro-poor agenda, and I'm going to be reading the pro-poor, so everything that is written in here, whether it's against Ambassador Baka or for Ambassador Baka, I will read it. I'm not going to hide anything. No, I'm not going to do that. Just because I want to support somebody, and then I just make up story of the.
No, but then don't tell us. Don't tell us say you for a person. Then we'll find it very difficult.
But then that's not sincere. I am truly, I believe Ambassador Baka to be the stabilizer. But the fact, what
has he stabilized in the past?
Mr.
When you were here, okay, let me just give you, not even on the governmental level. When you were here, Unity Party had a ball here. LPR provided a coverage here. When CPP was in turmoil, who was the last person to say the CPP go Darko? Some of us came out their document and made a proclamation. Hold on.
No, but
your guy said we should go to bed and sleep on that what?
Mr. So, you when you make those points, then I think you have nothing to hold on to, because I am one of those. I am, right here on the same show, I condemn it. And in fact, just last week, a brother seen subject matter.
So if he can stabilize, so why should you deceive Liberian? If he can stabilize a group of four, because
I'm not deceiving anybody.
He told us when he gets back, everything's gonna be okay with his wisdom, with his experience that you all usually count on. If he can stabilize a group of four that put together. A group of four institutions that put together, what is a guarantee that he can stabilize a country with over 40?
Give him a chance. Give him a chance, and you will see what is guaranteed.
The first chance was saying utilize.
Yeah. Well, what happened to CDC when y'all gave President WEAH a chance? What happened?
I made my position clear from day one that in as much WEAH, I admire him for circle, but administratively, I felt I had a conviction that he was unable to make some strong administrative decisions.
Anybody question your conviction? No. So why you want to question mine?
But you guys are jumping. You're jumping here and there.
What happened then? Those that were supporting Ambassador WEAH at the time. Why if they question your conviction, Mr. So you don't move this liberal. Nothing you're gonna say here tonight that will move this liberal. All that I can tell you is this. Look, these things here, when we're doing these things, Mr. So, we have to be very factual and be truthful. I can't come here because I want to please certain people, and therefore, when something I see, if it's not right, that I will be quiet about it. I'm not going to do that.
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm not here. I'm not a first of all.
So
I'm not a spokesperson. I'm not a spokesperson for Ambassador WEAH. Anyway,
what is your message to the audience? Is it a persuasive
tonight?
Or
tonight
you just
message?
No, not just on that tonight. You've been talking on this network for quite a time now, years now, and you've been very, very, very much aggressive, deeply involved. You took a position which is okay. What is your message to the audience, to the electors? What do you want them to do?
Mr. So I'm not done yet. When I'm done with the hold on now. When I'm done with the pro agenda, then I will progress on to the COVID-19 that is being blamed. How did the government of the Republic of Liberia responded to the COVID-19? Then after that is done, then we will go on to my area, the rural connectivity issue. My area, the rural connectivity issue. Then I will go and expose that as well. Mr. So the reason here is this. It's not because of hate. I'm saying to the audience, here, we're here today. How did we get here? And show these people, all of these things are facts. These things are public record. And if you're not comfortable, me reminding all of you of the bad deal in the past, then I'm sorry.
Liberians, the electors are interested in now, they want to find a possible pathway. And part of that is the narrative, the conversation. I'm not stopping it.
It's not my job. It's not my job to tell them to say who to select.
Are you giving directions in your talking point, or
far from it? Far from it. I've been saying it over. You're not listening. You're not listening. I said from the very beginning, I'm going to be reading these things. I'm not asking anybody to make up their mind based on what I'm doing. I'm saying to you, this is where we are. How did we get here? And
so for me, I know how we got here.
Child of God. God has helped me and given the ability for me to spot any kinds of unforced error. And I have a binder. This is just one. I got about 4 of them over here.
I don't care. You know how long you've been talking about those binders? I don't care.
Exactly. So you know that I'm down. If you can say that, then you know I'm very truthful. Okay, since I've been talking about, was I not saying also that there will come time I will bring these banners to life? Did I not mention that?
What is the point of bringing?
No. I ask you a question. Don't jump somewhere. Validate that first. Did I not mention that?
No.
Oh, okay. Emma Joy will attest to that.
Yeah, man. I don't get it. So, what do you want? The people are indecisive. People are finding which way to go based on the conversation, and the conversation out there is so much convoluted, and people just don't know.
And I don't want to participate in that
type of process. People that are listening to you this evening, what is the message? What is the core message?
Until you came and intellectually disrupted my show, okay, which I appreciate. That's fine. You're asking questions. I'm glad that we're having a conversation. To be honest with you,
they should need to be disrupted in order to find a pathway. Then that's the purpose of it.
You're not going to provide a pathway for me. I provide my own. I'm a liberal. I got my own way of doing it.
Here we are now, 104 days. Sierra Leone, I concluded her process today.
Okay.
We heard the announcement.
So
Sierra Leone voted based on the deliverables.
Okay.
What are the administration?
So why are you agitated when I'm talking about the deliverable from this government? All I'm doing, I'm pointing.
What I'm saying. We in the media industry, we have the ability to provide a conversation thereby.
But what makes you think my process is different than what you're talking about? Do you see what you want me to do? Is the fact that I have declared myself as being a admirer to Ambassador Bakai.
I have no problem with it.
No, hold on. You said that here so many times. And since I have declared that I'm a admirer to Ambassador Bakai, and therefore at this time, all I need to do is to bring up positive thing about Ambassador Bakai and stick with it. Well, that's not what I do. Those who follow me know that I'm truthful. And so if you're going to base your decision, if you're going to make a decision based on what I'm telling you, you know that I'm being truthful.
I will tell you, you're not truthful. One, you're not truthful. You not respect the laws of the land.
Okay.
Your party went to court. The final
There we
court.
go again. You're going to bring that old talking point that has nothing to do with anything. Mr. So
is that a new talking point you bring here?
The what?
The talking point you bring here today, Esther Walker thing and a new thing. You know how long people is that we're going to pour food on people? People are thinking how they're going to survive tomorrow.
You're
bringing Esther Walker thing
behind.
So
let me lay it out again for you. Let me lay it out again for you. Okay. Now, you know our Liberian society, the memories factor in our society is very short. So my intent and what I promise to do is to continue to remind. In fact, I call it retrospective of the failure of this government and analyzing that. And what I'm doing is to say, look, this is where we are. The government told us from the beginning they're going to do X, Y, and Z. And here is the proof. I give them the proof. Then the question is, have the government done that? What they told you they were going to do? It's left for the people to say yes or no.
So here what I see. I mean, you leading the way through, and that's the difference with you and Sister Goya. All right, you bring it out there, and your conclusion is just inconclusive. Because when you do that,
what do you mean? I'm not making any conclusion. I'm giving the fight.
What is the rationale of that? Playing that there must be a motive for playing that.
I don't know how many times I'm gonna say.
Yes, a motive because you're not saying anything.
What do you mean I'm not saying it? Let me say it again. The government of the Republic of Liberia were elected, duly elected. 61.5% of the electorate voted for this president. After the election process was done, the government, nobody forced them. They decided to show to the Liberian people how they're going to govern. True statement. By providing the pro-poor agenda. And you know the war agenda, when you used to be in leadership before. When you go to meeting with your people.
Forget about my leadership.
Okay, but let me you're not some small potato. We know that. So I'm just giving you an example. So when you say an agenda, okay, just the word agenda alone will indicate that you have certain topic or certain activities. In terms of the government, they have what they call pro-poor agenda. And in a pro-poor agenda, which they consider to be the blueprint, they listed things that they were going to do to alleviate poverty. They listed things they were going to do to be able to generate funds in Liberia so that Liberians will not suffer. Because on their watch, they intended to take out 1 million Liberians out of poverty based on the blueprint. So 5 years into this blueprint, I'm saying to the Liberian, here is the blueprint that they told us about. Have they kept up the work to fulfill the blueprint, which is the promise, pretty much, which is something they said they were going to do to govern? And that's all I'm doing, reminding the Liberian people what the blueprint said.
So when you remind them now, what do you expect from them?
Well, I don't have, my expectation has nothing to do with it. My expectation at this point is not, it's not even It has nothing to do
What
with
is the core value of your message? You're speaking to a diverse
I'm
audience.
not giving any message. All I'm doing is a process. I'm giving them the process. And they will make that determination.
Are you helping? Okay, because I'm asking these questions because you came out bold-faced, you took a position which is okay. And we want to know where you stand on issue. You're not telling, or you're just saying it for us to listen to it and go away and decide for yourself, or are you making an argument on behalf of somebody or something? I don't understand.
The first thing is,
you're being truthful. You've been truthful. You do not respect the law. The court took a decision.
There's one.
No, yeah, because you in multiple places, and
what court took decision that I don't respect? What court took decision that I don't respect? Let me try to disabuse
your party.
This is not your first time talking about it. The Liberty Party went to court, and the case did not turn out right for us.
And then what happened?
Let me just tell you this: in the court of law, when the court make a decision, the decision is very specific. And the issue themselves, there are multiple issues that perhaps you presented to the court, and the court making a decision in a specific order. So there might be certain items or certain issues that in the court decision was not addressed.
What?
I'm just giving you. I'm not going to be specific with you here tonight.
Because you don't have no argument.
Well, Mr. So if you just listen to me. So the point of Liberty Party, you keep saying why the Liberty Party going back to court to do after the court. Well, perhaps I'm not there in Liberia, so I'm not going to argue for them. But perhaps, I'm saying perhaps because I don't know much on it. Perhaps there are certain issue in their court decision. There was certain issue that perhaps they felt the court did not address. So they have a legal right constitutionally going back to the court and say, Your Honor,
we should have
these three issues.
Went to the last
two of them. One is not resolved. So what's wrong with that?
Oh, man.
Mr. So this is the time of the days of warrior going to war and cutting their shot. Those days are over. These days, you should be able to have a mindset of being able to look at things from a different perspective. Okay, for example, you can use one word, and that word could mean different thing in different faction, and that's what it is. So, thank you.
Are you supporting the progressive in this process?
I've always been a progressive. I've always been a supporter of progressive.
Do you support the progressive political ideology this 2023?
Yes. One man, one vote.
And beyond that,
there's nothing else beyond one man, one vote.
The progressive have a Kennedy.
Yeah, they do. But that doesn't mean because I'm a progressive then I should.
No, that's not what I'm saying. So where do you differ? Where do you differ with the progressive?
I'll just give you some example here tonight. I truly believe what it did, the progressive, what it did was wicked. In that, you see, Mr. So, this is where I'm different. And this is where I believe that I consider myself a political genius. If I may use that word myself, that is. No, but on a very serious note, Mr. So. Anyone, all of us that are of age, when President WEAH came on stage, when he was playing football, he was popular in the world. When he came back to Liberia to settle and wanted to participate in the political activities in the country, there's no way on a very true, free, and fair election, President WEAH would have won the 2005 election. He would have won all the other elections. I believe that he's always been cheated. There is no question asked. He's still popular. So for those both people not to recognize, because in order for you to do something for the country, first of all, you must be elected. And they knew very well they did not have the vote to be elected, anything, not even a dog catcher. But President Weah has the vote.
Is he still
President Weah,
popular? Is he still popular today?
of course he is.
So
Of
then,
course he is.
why do you think going to be the outcome of this election?
Well, these are things that are concerning me, and this is what I'm trying now. You see, this is the genius part of Samson too. I recognize that he's popular, but how do I now try to chip away his popularity? I cannot be a football player
So, look,
and try
Terry,
to compete with President Weah on that stage. What I can do, and I think what we need to do, is to remind the voters, the person you brought to us, he's still popular. We agree. But these are things that he said he was going to do. Has he done that? And if the answer is no, can you look somewhere else? That's how you approach these things, because then you're not coming across as being hateful.
okay, this is one of your favorite person here. Mr. Collins is one of our prime time value audience, and I like this statement here. Mr. Toll wants to be balanced in his argument, so he cannot be accused of being biased, even though he has a side. Is that a value argument?
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. And
Okay.
that analysis of me is very intellectual. That's a fair point. I like that.
So, I don't think politics is your area. You are complete, clean, great engineer. You need to stay within that confines of your expertise.
So
Because politics, you got to take that.
involved into politics longer than many people
Not
today.
total politics. I'm not talking about total politics. You went, they made you commissioner. Nobody contested. You brought Siri Allen type of a hard year, and you the commissioner for total. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about politics, whereas you're going to take a definitive position, which people will agree with or disagree with. You have to take the bull by the horn, and this is.
I understand that. I understand. You see, you and the Amos George preached the Donald Trump and the MAGA type politics, my way or no way. And you cannot be a politician and expect to denigrate people anytime.
Okay, let make progress.
So, may I speak, please, if you don't mind? It's my show. I don't want to park you. I don't want to park you tonight. So let me make my point. And you and Mr. George,
you start threatening people again.
No, I said. You see, why you got to bring that word in? And you know that's the only word that would make me to think different. But let me finish my point on a very serious note. In politics, I believe you can be factual and still be stern in your pronouncement. You can be factual and still be fair to everybody. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Now, I understand the drawback of that. Take, for example, back in the 80s, when Walter Mondale and what's his name, Ronald Reagan went at it, Walter Mondale during the debate told the American people, I will raise your taxes. I'd rather be truthful with you now than to lie to you. He said he's not going to raise your taxes, because, speaking about Ronald Reagan, but he's lying to you. The people didn't believe him. They elected Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan raised taxes. So I know the drawback of it. I understand that. But for me, it's better for me to be truthful and go to bed peacefully than to come out here while you have 200-300 people watching you and making up stories, and then you go to bed, you start wondering as to whether you are very truthful or not. Right now, I'm being truthful, and so people don't accept it or what have you. That's fine with me, as long as I'm not lying. Then I'm not hiding anything. Then I have nothing to worry about. In fact, if I were in Joseph Barker camp, I would try to bring people like Samson closer to me.
To do what?
To be an advisor. Person who would look at Joseph Barker in the eyes and tell him, this one, oh man, is wrong. We can't do that. He might not agree with me. I will suggest and I will ask him to seek second opinion on that. But I'm not going to be a sycophant. I'm not going to be a grievous seeker because they don't have anything to give me. They got nothing to give me. Even if they were to ask me to come and be whatever they want, the money I'm making on the king, they don't have money to pay me. So there's nothing for me. I can only do, for example, the project I'm on in LIBERIA right now, that money they got for me, I'm doing it because I feel proud of it. I want to make sure when the project is done, I take people like you and say, see this is what I did. That's all count. That's what I want. It's not about the money.
So
it's about the country.
It's the main talking point here. All of the things you're talking about, nobody, I mean, I'm not paying heed to it, and I know a lot of people are not even paying heed. What is ahead of us is what is important right now.
I agree, but I'm not approaching it from that perspective. What is ahead of us? I understand that, but I think it's people like you who's looking ahead. It's because of people like that Samuel Tua and the rest of them continue to say, now you see it, now you don't. And I'm telling the people, look ahead, but at the same time, from time to time, look behind. So you don't continue to repeat these mistakes. Because if you know where you're coming from and you get to where you're going, by that point, you will have recognized all of the pitfall. Because on your way going to where you're going, there will be some mistakes on the way. And you can't just get there and forget about where you're coming from. Because if you don't, you will have issue in the future.
So is a thing. And for most of you who
Mr. Soy, I think it's time that I put a number up.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You can throw a number out. And please do not.
I know they're not calling your number.
No, they're my number. A different person calling here.
So let me put a number up. Thursday, you won't have the opportunity to get in my stuff. Because I will make sure that I block all of the angle.
Oh, you want to block?
I wrote something here earlier. Oh my goodness, I didn't save it. Okay. Folks, that's the number there, 916-53.
Just to do that, let me just hold on 1 second, somebody. Somebody calling?
Yeah, it just went off. Okay, I'm back on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, all right, went off. So, folks, that's the number, Samson to 916-533-2048. So, Mr. So, I really appreciate it, even though you didn't let me finish my.
You can finish your point. I mean,
no, that's okay. That's okay. Thursday, because I know your schedule. Thursday, you're very, very busy. You won't have time to come and
no, I'm gonna take. I will take the day off. Don't worry about that.
No, I'm not even gonna make comment on that one. Because if I call you, I'll call you 6 o'clock in the morning.
I think we have a responsibility, and part of that is to keep an honest conversation. Thereby, people will be able to get a decision. And all day today, I peruse all of the cable channels, online platforms in Sierra Leone, commentary, analysis. Why Marabio, 56%, millions of votes, massive win. Why he won. Now, I thought a guy like you, who took a position which is okay, you begin to kind of like push those lines. Why Mr. A should be and why Mr. X can be. That should be that is the priority of Liberia right now, the future of the country. Whether I come in, I listen to most of those people to the Sierra Leone. The work of Dr. Bill, his heavy investment into the young generation, electricity, water, sanitation, women's inclusion, multiple stuff. See, those were the things that people, when they were talking about the reason for which he might have been.
Let me take
I
this
thought
call.
by this time that's where we're going to be.
Hold on 1 minute. Let Mr. Soul land, and then call it Terry. Then we'll bring you. Go ahead, Mr. Soul. Finish.
Yes. I thought by this time, those are the kind of argument we're going to be pushing. Those are the kind of things we're going to be talking about for us to get a sense of where people going, so that we'll be able to make this decision. Go ahead. Let me see. I'm responding to people here.
Okay, Terry, go ahead. Go ahead. What's on your mind? Okay, hold on. Can you hear me? Terry, can you hear me? Okay, hold on. Terry, can you call back, please? Because I was not connected. Please call back. Thank you. Okay, let's see now. Okay. Should be on now. Terry, can you hear me? Okay. You're still in the hold on 1 minute. Folks. Okay, Propo. All right, let's see. Okay. Terry, now can you hear me now? Let's try again. Can you hear? All right, let's do the whole time there. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. People are listening now. Go ahead.
You hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Terry. Go ahead, make your point.
His sound is so low, I'm not hearing him.
Mario, your expose, but it seems like it's so it's giving you hard time.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
What Terry say?
But yeah, you have to manage it. But you know what on my mind is actually that I see citizens are celebrating.
Celebrating for what?
Kind of looking very creepy because you cannot compare Mata leadership with President WEAH. There is a huge disparity. So the condition in Sierra Leone is completely different from the condition in Liberia. I believe that President WEAH have performed, he have underperformed, he have performed very poorly, and is still performing very poorly. So as a result, I don't think the people will resolve in granting him the opportunity to go again for additional 6 years. All right, and your point is clear because one of my fear is that most political parties, like even the NPP-led government, they had a vision. We had Chancellor had a vision of 2030. You know, led Wise Ellen, she had a vision too. So what become of all these visions? You know, George WEAH too, he had a vision, the Popo agenda. So when they leave power, what become of these visions? Do they die a natural death? Do they wipe away and nobody else can complete it? So with every president or every leader come to power with their own vision, thereby forgetting about all the good things that other presidents intended to do that they were not able to do based upon their inability to continue. So I think that is kind of scary for Liberia. Yeah. So even if George WEAH failed in not meeting up with his full agenda, first stipulated in the document that you are presenting to us, I believe there are so much goodies in that document that another leadership can foster for the betterment of the transformation of our country. Even if George WEAH do not go back for the second term.
Yeah, but Terry, that's exactly what CDC did. When CDC came to power, when they put the pro-poor agenda together, they decided to borrow from the past administration, and they called it lesson learned. So they pick up all of the good stuff that they believe that will benefit their administration in terms of helping the Liberian people. So they did that. They did a good job of that. However, the implementation process of it was lacking. They just decided purposely to ignore the pro-poor agenda. It has nothing to, so I bet President Joseph Nyimabaka, when he comes to power, he most likely will dabble into the pro-poor agenda and pick up all of the good stuff. it just left now. After that is done, that these people should be able to implement those processes. They cannot be implemented by themselves. It's those who are going to pick them up. They must be able to carry them out.
Yeah, like I heard somebody was saying that, oh, Joseph Walker would not, because you see, one of the things that most president does, is that they kill the vision of the next president in order to gain repetition for themselves. And one of the things I want to admire President Weah for is that he's not doing that. He's trying to, even though he's feeling immensely, but he tried to implement some projects that Ellen was already in the pipeline doing. Like Samuel Kanye, President, had a good vision for Liberia. He was doing a lot of great things. But when Taylor King, it was not successful, I agree, working. But President Ellen King, she did not try to implement some of the projects that do implemented, which was not good. And so, like somebody was saying that if Joseph Boga win, you're not going to pay WEAH fee. I believe that what President Weah is doing in regards to paying WEAH fee, any other leader who comes.
1 second, okay, Mr. To.
They shouldn't say, oh, because President Weah did not do that, he failed it, that, he failed it, that, so we're not going to pay WEAH fee. I think the WEAH fee paying have gotten adjusted to our people. So we need to find a way that President need to take on that initiative and continue. I think that is one of the reasons why America is great. Because president come to power and they start from where the other president failed. The other president stops.
Exactly.
And that Liberia should follow suit.
I agree, and I think that was the beginning and the end of this failed pro-poor agenda, because those who that I don't know for facts, but those who were responsible for introducing failure of this pro-poor agenda did not do the president any kinds of good service at all, because the pro-poor agenda itself, if you were to go into it and truly study this, you will find out that this agenda truly is very simple, and the implementation process of it very simple. It's not complicated. They told everyone how they're going to raise the money and what are the mechanisms that are going to be required to be able to raise the kind of fund that they want to raise, because President Weah and his people wanted to raise $6 billion. But when they came up and decided that they were not going to be able to implement, because in order for in the pro-poor agenda, they address the issue of the port authority, how the money and what are some of the things they needed to do to bring the money from the port authority. And when the pro-poor agenda was not implemented, the port authority money, people don't even know where it's going. So those are some of the things. And to me, you see the interesting thing about the pro-poor agenda, they also told us how they were going to tackle the leg weight, they call it, which is the corruption. Because they said even not to eradicate the corruption, they said they recognize it. But if they can minimize it, then the fundraising part of it that was eating away the process of being able to raise funds from each of the industry or each of these natural resources, then the money will come in to the revenue and be able to do the services that they wanted to provide. And if you unless I don't know, but from President we have a welcoming remark, he's fully on board with it. He was not struggling. I mean, he didn't struggle with the words. He was fully on board. But when the time came to carry out the process, they were not successful. Why do we have the $16 billion got missing? Why do we have the failed map out $25 million? What happened? Those were corrupt behavior, and it stated those in the report. So I mean, it's just sad. It's just very sad.
Yeah, and I think that is where you see, so we have problem is the level of his sympathetic mindset. As a leader, you cannot be too soft and you cannot be too harsh. And I think Mr. We have or has the inability to take legal action on people that mess his government up. And I think that what you just said, the $16 billion, the map-up exercise, that was when he should have fired Samuel 12. I really want to believe that Samuel 12 played a major role in the downtrodden of President Weah's government. If President Weah happens to lose the second term, it is because he failed to fire Samuel 12. Now look at the disgrace Samuel 12 is bringing to him. Going on public radio and talking all kinds of things about 25 million people coming out of poverty.
But Terry, don't listen to that. Samuel 12 knew exactly why he threw that in there. He just threw it in there, just exactly the result he wanted. That's why you're giving him. Because Samuel 12 is not stupid. Samuel 12 is very intelligent. When he made a declaration, publicly declaring the failure of the pro-poor agenda, and immediately recognized that he has blundered by admitting that. So what else he wanted to do was to be that ridiculous, so that Liberian people would not face the fact that he has admitted the failure of the pro-poor agenda. Instead, many Liberians, including yourself, focus on the 27 million people coming out of poverty, when we all know that we don't even have 6 million. So he didn't make a mistake. He did it purposely to throw us off. As simple as that.
Right. Well, thank you so much for the show.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. Again, folks, Samson told LIBERIA Public Radio, give me a call here. Thursday, we will be back on here, and I will play. I have a lot of video here tonight I wanted to play, but as usual, Mr. So were able to jump in and intellectually interrupted. And so, but I know what to question. Thursday, he'll be busy. I know his schedule. Thursday, he'll be very busy. He won't be able to come on. So we'll have fun with that. Because I have here, it was back in 2019. There was a gentleman that went on Dallas Dillon podcast, and he predicted exactly, if the government did not stop what they were doing, that they were going to fail, economically fail. And that's what we're seeing right now. Now, I give this government credit, to be honest with you. Liberians are now going to the bank to withdraw their money and put it under the mattress because they think the bank will fail the institution. They think the institution itself, the banking institution, is holding on. The issue that I have is that this government, for some reason, they're not paying. I don't know. I really don't understand. They do one little stuff, people sinking. They love that part. Well, the only way you will be, if you follow people praise singing and praise singer and things like that, then you don't pay attention to this pro-poor agenda. Because there's nowhere in the pro-poor agenda where they mention anything about people praising you and singing for you. And I give it to President Weah. I have another video here that I was replaying on Thursday as well. President Weah told us, he made it clear in one of the CDC gathering, you don't need to praise me, he said. You don't need to thank me. I need to thank you for giving me the opportunity to do what I've always wanted to do for you. But because of the greed, and President Weah is just one person. He doesn't have eyes behind his head. And people that he trusts are the people that fail in him. So which way do we go? Which way do we go? It's left for you. So I will continue with this process despite the objection from Mr. Soul, who believed that I should come out here and say all of the good thing about Ambassador Wakai. I will leave that with you. I'm not even a spokesperson for Ambassador Wakai. They don't know me. I don't know them. I just admire him. In as much as I'd like for him to be, and I will hope that he will be, the president to stabilize the issue, I truly believe that I should be truthful on Ambassador Wakai and Madam Salif administration. See, and this is what I don't want to do. I can't come here and tell you, say, this government borrowed from Madam Salif and Ambassador Bakar some ideas based on their own agenda, how to reduce poverty in Liberia. They borrowed part of it because that was good, and they thought that would be implemented in their part, in their stuff. Okay, now what I'm doing that and say, oh, they borrowed from President Ambassador Bakar and President Salif at the same time, and not talk about other issues that was mentioned about President Salif and Ambassador Bakar, then I'm not being fair. I'm not being truthful. I'm not being sincere, and I'm not going to do that. It's not because I'm doing it as Mr. So is saying, putting Ambassador Bakar on the bus. Far from it. I want people to make the judgment. Okay, if he's saying X, Y, and Z, if he's being truthful, then I think we'll like to listen to him. That's all that I want to say on that one. I cannot, and I will not lie. I'm not going to do that because I want somebody to succeed. And I'm not going to come here and bash President WEAH based on hate, like the progressive, like the so-called book people did. That was ridiculous. And I've called them out. I will call them out. And I continue to call them out. By, I believe it was 1986 or 87. There was a Liberian conference that was held in Akron, Ohio. I was there. Milton Teji was one of the MC that night at Akron University. And we have two professors from PhD that came from Germany. We have Dr. Thibault was there, Dr. Sawyer was there, Dr. Formula was not in there. But the issue that night was, what are some of the things that they need to do to move the country forward? And another question was asked from one of the audience who were not a Liberian. And the question was to Dr. Thibault and Dr. Sawyer. And the person said, well, I've been following you guys. He's not even a Liberian. I've been following you. I remember these things because I was there. Not as somebody with issues, because I'm friend with them. No. I went there to listen and to contribute. I asked questions myself. But the question was, in as much as you two have been struggling to have one man, one vote, and the government that is in power at that time was Samuel Doe, I have some sort of a fallout with many of you. What if you have another person who is not from your community, but is eligible and that person can be elected? Will you put aside your own political ambition and recognize this person and be able to coalesce around that person and be able to help him to succeed? And all two of them say yes. In fact, I believe Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Thibault made a statement. Liberia is above all of us. So when the actual time came, they didn't do that. They didn't do that. There was another conference that was held in Cleveland, Ohio. There was a gentleman called Tim Sukler, who was then president of Fulao. And at that conference, people like Dr. Marcus Dam was present. Other people from Atlanta were there. And at that conference, the issue was to be discussed was, how do we move Liberia to the next level of people being able to respect the majority view? Because they believe that the fact that minority then was ruling, and now the coup has dislodged them, and now the majority are somehow in control, but now being manipulated by certain group or certain tribe. So how do we move from there? And the discussion around that, because they have a breakout section, and Honorable Kidad, I think her name was, were all there, people from other places. So the main issue of discussion that time was, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you're from Nima County, if you're Grand Jide, or whatever county you're coming from. But if your interest is above, meaning it's above yourself, I mean, the interest of the country is above you, and you put the interest of the country first, then all of the people make sure they come and follow you and support you. But then the question was, so what happened to the other people political ambition? In fact, Dr. Joseph Kotu was there at that time. Joseph Kotu from Nima County, who I believe he was one-time minister of education. And he saying, well, he said that his own thought on this was that he was going to not oppose, but that first of all, he's going to challenge anybody who he will challenge that person. And if Liberians feel that that person's idea is better than his idea, at the end he would throw his support behind that person, because they all want to have a successful Liberia. So the success of Liberia has always been on these people's mind. I have a letter here that was written from a jailhouse by Marcus Matthew. When he wrote Tubber, I have the letter here. I will find it, one of these somewhere back there, that he wrote from it. Wrote it in his own handwriting. I have that original copy here. And in that letter, he pretty much, and that question was asked later, in fact, in Rhode Island, when they came, at that time he was foreign minister. And the letter he wrote to Tubber, not begging to say, but that he admitted that they're young and their ideas are not as good as he, Tubber, and the rest of the old guard who has Liberia at heart. They are young, he says, but they're trying to challenge the status quo. And in the process of doing that, not recognizing that they are damaging the hard work that was done before them. And that was very impressive. And when Tubber got that letter, Tubber immediately decided to release those people, that they were young. And in fact, he decided to work with them. So the question that night at another gentleman, I'm going to call a lot of names here tonight, at another gentleman's house called Wesley Johnson. Wesley Johnson was another progressive as well. So we met at Wesley Johnson house in Rhode Island that night. And the question was, why did you beg President Tubber to release you? And he said, this is an old tactics of revolutionary. When you're in a position, you try to make it so that you will have the opportunity to fight, another day. But overall, their interest always remain to have Liberia at the best. And there was another incident where Marcus Matthew, I have another letter here that he wrote to the Secretary General, who young man at that time was supposed to be Secretary General Pat. But when they called for the meeting was supposed to be held in Cleveland, Ohio. And Marcus Matthew, I believe at the time he was living in New York. So when he drove to Cleveland, the Secretary General was not there. So the question was, why Marcus Matthew asked, why was he not there? And the question you're asking is it how you're going to behave when we get to Liberia? When the fire is on our bike, you will not be able to show yourself. I'm glad, he says, that you're letting us know now. I have that letter here as well. So the progressive have always been people who will put Liberia first. But the reason why I'm so at this point calling their behavior wicked, knowing follow what you have struggled all these years, other brothers died because of that. Other brothers died. I remember when they arrested people like Dr. Bulletin, they used to flog them up at the post market. Because I used to go to the barracks all the time. In fact, my brother who lives, I'm not going to tell you where he lives now, he used to cry. When they're flocking, then most of the army people used to cry. Okay? But now that you know, none of you are going to be president. They know that. And you have a popular person. Why will you not channelize all of your energy through this person and move the country the way you want? Must you be president anyhow? It's the same behavior today that we have all of these people at the representative level that have nothing, they got nothing to offer. But when the time came, these so-called book people, all they wanted to do was to be president. They don't want to be senator. Many of them don't want to be senator. They definitely don't want to be representative. And so these young people that have nothing to offer, they took this position, they became the representative, and they started paying themselves huge sums of money. So within a certain length of time, they have amassed so much wealth that you now, the so-called book person, you ain't got 5 cents yellow myself now. You're broke. But you want to be senator, you want to be representative, you don't have the money to challenge these people. You have the ideas, but you don't have the money. They have the money, and they don't care for your ideas. So what they do, they go out into these communities and give money to the people to vote for them. Whereas you have a perfect and decent idea to move this country forward, but you don't have the money. If you are gone in, can you imagine having 6 or 7 PhD being representative? You think Buffett Chapman are going to have a way to move around? No. So these are just points that I'm trying to make here tonight. And I've been out here for quite a while now. Thanks to Mr. Soul. You know, let me play this video here. I'll play again on Thursday. But let me play it here for you. And just listen before I close. Listen to the advice this young man was giving to CDC at the time, 2019. If you don't do this, he talks about a listen to it. Please listen. It's very interesting. But they've refused to listen. It's not your farm. We're all in this boat together. Even if we're not part of your administration, but somebody who knows something when they try to tell you, listen to them. Even if you're not going to pick it up, but listen and see if it's helpful. That's all. Listen to this man.
Issue from a public finance management perspective, because when you want to talk about how the government is able to fund investment activities, fund productive activities in the economy, it has to be able to generate resources to do that. If you look at that, like Liberia, the nature of our budget, government raised resources through domestic revenue and through partner financing, and spend those money in the economy. And the way the government spends the money in the economy also helps to generate revenue for the government. But now there's the problem that we have. When the government took over, the instant risk, I told them that the biggest risk to the budget, to public finance, was the risk of the payroll going out of hand. Because why? You have a lot of ministers coming across the government bureaucracy from ministries, agencies, and all of these people were under significant pressure to bring on new people into those bureaucracies. So once you do that, you actually expand the public sector wage bill to a level beyond control. And that is exactly what we have seen. The public sector wage bill has gone up, and that continuously be reducing the wage bill, the salary of people. But they did that already in July last year when they did the 10 to 15, 10, 7, 8% cuts for ministers and directors. They did that already. So they've already done cuts. So if they do any other cut, it will be the second cut in the year that they will be doing to payroll, when in fact prices of goods and services are going up. You will be actually stifling the purchasing power of people in order to make sure that they do the kind of investment, the kind of expenditure in the economy that will lead to more growth. So now this is the issue: how the government is preventing itself from doing from addressing some of those issues. Just look at talk to business people that are doing a business with government around. They are not getting paid. Everywhere, all of the business people are complaining they are not getting paid. Even government tenders these days are not competitively bid. So there are so many issues, and the procurement process signals government relation with the entire business community. So if you have a system in which the procurement process is not open, it's not transparent, you do not have a system where people basically compete in the lowest price and people get contract on the basis of merit, it's basically going to disturb the whole flow. As a result, what you now have in the place is, one, because payroll has gone up, so government now has to devote more resources to payroll. And secondly, because government is not able to adequately fund the operation of government, that is providing fuel, providing stationaries, providing all of those basic things that allow the government bureaucracy to run, it is exactly that money that goes to businesses. So for the very few businesses that are actually doing business with government, that are doing contract for government, they are not also getting paid. So some of these businesses are laying off people. So the first thing that
this recording from Senator Dillon's podcast. The young man explained, and that's the truth. Because if for example, you have contract for the government, and most of the time these people give you contract, they want 50% kickback. I've been saying that here over and over and over. If I'm doing a work for you, if I'm doing a design work, and I charge you $5, and you say, okay, I'll give you $5, but you got to give me $250 back. So I say, okay, because I want a job. So I take the $250, and I will give you $250 work. Substandard product you're gonna get, and it's not gonna last. But these people don't care because they're in it for the instant gratification. There's so many. There's other issue. They will come to you. Say, okay, can you do this? Say, okay, yeah, okay, design this. Okay, for example, on a roadway, and you say, okay, well, what type of pavement do you want? Yeah, well, just give a flexible quota. And then somebody have concrete plan or concrete product, they come to you. So, oh, take my product. I'll give you 50,000. Because the job itself to pave that job with the concrete product is going to be 150. So they charge 200,000. The actual amount is 150. So they charge 200,000. So they give them the 50, they still get the 150. And guess where the money coming from? Partners. Liberians were not helping ourselves. No, let me take that back. We're not helping the country. We're helping ourselves. And so if I'm doing a project and you do that kind of thing to me, sometimes I just want to, I have so many engagements. Sometimes I just want to come and blow my mouth here, but I don't live in Liberia. I can't do that. I can't do that. So what do? I said, that's whatever I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Whatever you guys do, that's fine. But I know about places like Ralphie International. $110 million project. They can't even make head and tail out of it. Anyhow, folks, Samson told Liberian Public Radio. These things are very much. Mr. So is gone now. I haven't had the privilege of jumping in and not letting me to finish. But Thursday, I know his schedule. He's not going to be here Thursday. And on a very serious note, when I'm doing these things, as I try to explain to Mr. So all night, I'm not doing it because I want to promote somebody or I want to demote somebody. I'm doing it for facts, truth. You heard this young man here. What was he saying there that was not true? Is that not that's not what happened? What he warned against? If you bring all these people on the payroll, the government payroll gonna go high. You don't have the revenue to support that payroll. Now you're coming to go borrow from road fund. You're coming to go borrow from partner money they keep in the bank, just so that you can keep up the road. You can keep up the wage bill. All of these things have happened because they fail to implement simple stuff. All of those people that got PhD. If what CDC have done with a pro-poor agenda, if these people with PhD, if they have done that with their study, then I'm going anywhere. Because you set goals. No, I don't have PhD. I don't even get master. I don't even get high school, let alone anything else. Okay? But in anything you do in life, you set goals. And you're not going to be successful. That's understandable. That's human nature. But make an effort. Because in the process, I believe, of making that effort, there will be something what they call lesson learned, even if you're not successful. But there are certain things you did along the way that were positive. There are certain things you did along the way that were negative, that threw you back, that brought you down. So the next step, the next goal you set, you say, I did that the other day. I went that way. No, I think they want to brought me to this point. The one that's taking you forward is what you're going to follow. That's just human nature. But like Alexander Comey would say, you do one thing over and expect a different result, it ain't happening. Samson to LeBron Public Radio. Folks, let me call it a night. Mr. So didn't get what I'm trying to achieve, and let me explain that again before I leave. And I will continue to do it. I'm not going to be here. If I say something that is favorable to my candidate, so be it. If I say something that is not favorable to my candidate, so be it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not here as a mouthpiece of anybody. What I'm trying to do with the pro-poor agenda, let me say it again, is that these people have blueprint. And they taught us. We have a blueprint. And I'm asking to many of you, is the blueprint being implemented or has it been implemented? And if the answer is yes, how good? And if you say very good, so be it. Select them, keep them, let them do more. That's all that I'm saying to you. I'm bringing these things out so you will know. Because I got all these reports that I'm going to be reading. I got buying a photo on false error I'm going to be reading of this government. And hopefully, the government in waiting will also learn from their mistake. It's all about improving our lives as Liberia. It has nothing to do with hate. I hear want to call to tonight. I hear Prince Sherry calling tonight because they know there's not. If they come running here and not preparing themselves, they will run away. So I went to call to and Prince Sherry, y'all don't come tonight. That's fine. Or y'all want to wait until Mr. Soul show tomorrow before y'all show up? Tomorrow I want to call. Will not even argue with you because I know Mr. Soul will not talk about this thing. So I'll not even say anything because that's when you'll have the opportunity to come and expose all of these wrong things and you will be in power for 37 years and all that kind of stuff, which is that's fine with me. You know, talking about why you ain't come. Winter Carter, why you ain't come tonight to talk about the road that they're building? Because this is what I was going to do for you. If you were to come on tonight and come and bring about the road, this is what I was going to show you. You see this? This is what I was going to show you. This is what I was going to show you. But you didn't come. Okay. Mr. So, thank you for the interruption. I really enjoy it. Is there any last comment you want to make before we go?
No.
What you might know? Or how do you call it? Accomplish. You accomplish whatever it is.
No, you already finished. You finished closing out. I'm cool with it. We meet
You're busy. You know you're busy, but
we meet tomorrow on the neutral ground.
On your show that neutral ground.
I don't watch out for people comments whether you're against me, is favor me. I'm not like you.
Okay.
I'm not looking out. I'm not.
But how come Winter Cotto and Prince Sherry ain't show on my show tonight?
Why do I have to do with that?
Okay.
You and Cotto from the same camp, so you're supposed to call her.
No. I said Winter Cotto. The other guy. Cutter. I'm sorry, Cutter.
Cutter and who?
And Prince Sherry.
And Prince are your son?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Costa as your son. You get one CPP son. You get one CDC son.
I really like them. I like both of them. Well, Prince Sherry, yeah.
Who you don't even like?
Huh?
Who you don't like?
You.
Oh well. You were still on inside my son. All right.
No, I really like Prince Sherry. Sometimes it gets to me sometimes, but he's a decent human.
I left my device. I just got a report and I'm trying to reach out. There's a lone lady that is standing in the senatorial race in Bond County. I just have my phone on the other end. I just don't want to leave the screen now. But I think she seems to be getting an attraction. And so we are trying to reach out to have a conversation. I think Dr. Tobat position is at stake. And one of the things, because all of these things executives
Eric Tobat, he must say you should stay under the same roof. We used to stay with the same woman.
What you used to stay with the same woman? You coming to plenty here before?
No, Eric Tobat. Real need John Tobat.
Yeah, you are old time Rago. We are good now, man. My goodness, good night. You come and say you and Henry Tobat and staying under the same roof, the nesting now that under the same.
We also use the work at the Ministry of Education at the same time. In fact, when Dr. Bole came, Henry Tobat was assigned to Dr. Bole on the 4th floor.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure a way for us to call these people that are, that's contesting for these various legislative seats, because I mean that's part of the people. He said, "Who's that?" Like maybe Keto calling her.
No. All right, Mr. So, anything else before I close?
Oh no, I'm good. Catch you tomorrow. Tomorrow is what, Wednesday?
Yeah, but Thursday, I know your schedule. Thursday, you're gonna be so busy that you're not gonna come and pop on my show like you did tonight. You're not gonna do it.
I'll say I'm taking off.
For my just to pop into my show, you're gonna take
just
off.
Also have a conversation.
I don't want to have a conversation with you. I don't want to have a conversation with you. Is it our force?
When that started?
Yeah,
don't let terror pass in your mind. Terror Collins, don't let them pass in your mind. We came a long way. How many years now? 13 some broken years. Don't let it CDC, WEAH, and Cummins stuff. Those people, all of them are the same people, my brother. They are all the same.
But when I say
I hope Liberia is a country. I wish it was a laboratory to say, oh, let's carry the other people. Let them do the experiment for 1 week, and then we carry the other people. We'll come back to the same thing. They all the same.
I agree. And that's why I don't tend to.
I mean, we just have to do what we're supposed to do, but all of them.
But I truly
nobody have the courage to take
the statement I'm about to make now again. You're going to accuse me of not supporting Ambassador Barker, but I'm being truthful. I believe if Kumi had traction, if Kumi had the kind of support Ambassador Barker had, Kumi will definitely, why I believe Ambassador Barker can stabilizing and continuing the process, they're not the same. But Kumi not only will be able to continue, but I think he will make a big difference. People will go to jail on a Kumi. people will go to jail.
What about Bwaka?
Nobody will go to jail. Bwaka is just.
Do you want people to go to jail?
Eh?
You want people to go to jail?
The people who are corrupt and people who stole money, yes. If you're found guilty, you go to jail. Bwaka was not do that. Bwaka most likely going to be like President WEAH.
So then why are you throwing him on us?
Because I want him to stabilize your country.
Good night. Bye-bye. I mean, you will not change. No need. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night. All right, folks. Samson told our brother I finished making his night. He's gonna have some sleeper night again tonight. Samson told our brother, folks. Good night and thank you very much for tuning in. We'll say we appreciate it. Folks, I'm sorry. Let me just recognize very quickly my own brother, Willie Jeru. Thank you for joining in. By Branch, thank you for joining.
Ipe yurigetigo palegi, kanye yurigesa kiwo palegi, kodye yurigesa pro palegi. Enkabaradu, kiki eko, matu odere to ya sapare yabo na mama, muri yasito na yabo ma yuklim. Enkabaradu, kiki eko,